As we explained last night, chronic underfunding for mental health is a big issue for the cash-strapped federal budget. The lack of safe, supported housing is one area of particular need. Tonight, though, one group of parents is celebrating a breakthrough on this issue for their mentally ill offspring, after a campaign led by the former competition supremo, Alan Fels, on behalf of his daughter, Isabella. Lisa Whitehead reports.
Despite a lot of care and attention, Isabella's had a persistent mental illness for 15 years, and she's often caught in that cycle. Illness, hospital, temporary accommodation, back into the community, illness, back into hospital. She has a family to pick up the pieces. Often people don't have a family.
Hi, great to see you.
Professor Alan Fels' daughter Isabella is 39. Living with schizophrenia has often been a struggle for her and her family. But today the future is looking brighter.
I'm on top of the world.
Isabella Fels has a new home and newfound independence. She's lived in a flat on her own before, but in the past it's taken a terrible toll on her mental health.
She finds it really difficult living on her own and is prone to relapse and to extreme loneliness.
The Fels family first spoke publicly about Isabella's illness in 2002.
Until recently, I've been very ashamed of my illness. I was ashamed of the fact that my father was so famous and that people might think he had a mad daughter.
As a carer, you feel terribly isolated. You think you're the only one that it's happened to. So for high-profile people to come out makes an awful difference.
The appearance galvanised into action a group of dedicated mothers, including Professor Fels' wife, Isabel Sid.
Have an environment that facilitates communication. And
Fed up with a mental health system they say provided inadequate support, these mums doggedly pursued their vision of building a safe haven for their children. Out of this committee, the Haven Foundation was born.
Annie will put them all straight into the bedroom, love.
Before becoming involved in the Haven project, Rosalie Cotter was at her wit's end, trying to support an adult son with autism and her daughter Anne, who's living with schizophrenia.
When I'm unwell, I don't know that I'm unwell. I believe that I'm, say, a famous person.
It wasn't until the mothers got together that I saw some light at the end of the tunnel, because I was never confident that just Anne in a flat out in the community was going to survive. Many haven't.
The Haven Foundation had a plan to stop people falling through the cracks. Just off Melbourne's busy Chapel Street is this former convent owned by the South Yarra Catholic Parish.
Rather than just a dollar value, we assess what it can do in terms of helping those who are disadvantaged through mental illness.
The parish gave the Haven Foundation a 40-year lease. That was just the beginning. The biggest hurdle was convincing the Victorian government to provide the $3 million needed to convert it into 14 self-contained units. The foundation also needed money to pay for on-site staff, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
It's costly, and governments tend to look for cheap solutions. So one cheap solution is to believe that the illness is just temporary. Trouble is, that's not the case.
The outspoken former head of the country's consumer watchdog, Professor Alan Fels, took on the task of lobbying the policymakers and the bureaucrats with his usual zeal.
There's so many people with deep need out there who can't break through the barriers of government.
Today we're going to make the Mediterranean tuna salad.
Uniting Care's Paran mission was ready to provide support staff, but first it had to allay fears the Haven was a return to the dark old days of psychiatric institutions.
You've always got to be very careful of ensuring that doesn't occur and putting in place processes and systems and so forth that promote a sense of community, not an institution.
I think we'll be staggered by the difference for people who would have been dead with the hope of a roof over the head with certainty. I am equally determined that we are going to do this right throughout Australia.
Oh, hi, it's Isabella here. I'm just having a bit of trouble trying to use the washing machine.
Isabella Fells is enjoying her independence, safe in the knowledge she can live here permanently and there's help available at the touch of a button.
I really feel I'm taking control of my life. I don't want to be such a burden on Mum and Dad anymore.
Lisa Whitehead reporting.